In this video, we will going to discuss about the modes of expression. So one is an integer expression. The second one is the floating point expression, and the third one is mixed mode expression. In an integer expression, if all the operands in an expression are integers, the expression is called integer expression. An integer expression yields always an integer result. So that means 4 divided by 2 is equal to 2. What is an integer? An integer is one wherein you don't have a decimal point. That is an integer. So 4 is containing without decimal and 2 is also without decimal. So you are going to get the result will also without decimal 2. So that means an integer expression always an integer result. If you are considering 4 by 3, in this case you are going to get 1. It will not going to get 1.333 because since integer by integer is always an integer, it will express the result without the decimal point. So therefore, it becomes 1. So 3 by 4 is equal to 0 because 3 divided by 4 is actually 0.75. Since it's an integer value, it truncates the decimal point. So it removes 0.75 and therefore it gives 0. So answer is not 0.75. Next, we have the floating point expression. If all the operands in an expression are floating point numbers or double values, the expression is called floating point expression or decimal expression. A floating point expression yields a floating point result. Suppose if you are considering an example of 4.0 by 2.0, then you are going to get 2 point followed by 6 zeros. So that is how it will going to be. The float by float is always a float. 4.0 by 3.0 will going to give you 1 point followed by 6 seeds. Then similarly 3.0 divided by 4.0 will going to give you 0.75 followed by 4 zeros. So what is the mixed mode type of expression? An expression that has operands of different data types is called mixed mode expression or mixed type expression. During evaluation, data conversion takes place from lower rank to the higher rank type conversion so that the type of operands remains same. For example, if you have 4.0 by 3, so what happens? Higher rank is the float and the lower rank is an integer. The integer value is converted into float because integer has got a lower rank and is converted into higher rank of float. So 4.0 divided by 3.0, which is going to become 1.63. Similarly, or 4 divided by 3, which will also give you the same value. So what are the arithmetic operators precedence? So precedence of operators, which is called BODMAS rule. So first one, that B represents the bracket will have the first precedence. Then O of operator will have the second precedence. Then D, division will have the third precedence. And M will going to be the multiplication will have the fourth precedence. Capital A is the addition will have the fifth precedence. And S, that is the subtraction, will have the sixth precedence. For example, if you are considering 6 into, open the bracket, 2 plus 3 divided by 5, close the bracket, divided by 5, we are going to give. So first, what is going to be the result, what you are going to get? According to the BODMAS rule, bracket is the first precedence. So it should evaluate in this expression, whatever the value which is there in the bracket, we need to evaluate. So that means 6 into, open the bracket, 2 plus 3. So first it will going to evaluate 2 plus 3. So it becomes 5. So in the next one, 6 into 5 divided by 5. Then off. Then off is not there. So then you have D, division. So since the division is there, so it will going to have 5 divided by 5. So that will going to be the division as the second precedence. So every time it will going to apply that BODMAS rule in each expression. So 5 divided by 5 becomes 1. So 6 into 1. So then 6 into 1. So the last one we have only one expression. So it is invariably it should be multiplication. According to the rules also, after division you have the multiplication. So multiplication has the third precedence. 6 into 1 will be equal to 6. So this is your result for this particular expression of 6 into, open the bracket of 2 plus 3 and close the bracket, divided by 5. So now, suppose if you are considering example 8 plus 4 plus 3, what happens? So we give from left to right. First add 8 plus 4. So it becomes 12. So 12 plus 3, it becomes 15. Next, add 12 plus 3, it becomes 15. So it will going to be 15 is the answer. Suppose if you have an next expression, if you are considering 2 into, open the bracket, then open the bracket a% 5. That means the remainder into, close the bracket, into, open the bracket 4 plus, open the bracket b minus 3 divided by, close the bracket, divided by, open the bracket c plus 2, close the bracket, and again you have 2 closing of the bracket. Assuming a is equal to 8 and b is equal to 15 and c is equal to 5, evaluate this expression. How to do that? So first we are going to substitute. What is the value of a? A is 8. So substitute the values of a, b and c down. How we're going to do? 2 into, open the bracket, 8% 5, then close the bracket, into, open the bracket 4 plus, open the bracket 15 minus 3, that is b, and then close the bracket, divided by, open the bracket 4 plus 2, c plus 2, c is 4, close the bracket, and expression inside the parenthesis. So first one is brackets we need to evaluate from the left to the right. Suppose if you are considering 8% 5, so what does it mean? The remainder should be equal to 0. So that means 8 divided by 5, what you are going to get? It is 3. 8 divided by 3, 5 ones are 5, 8 minus 5 is equal to 3. So since the remainder is 3, so you are going to have the 3 here first. So one bracket is removed. So you have only one bracket here. This bracket is evaluated star into, open the bracket 4 plus. Then you take this expression. So what is that? 15 minus 3. Whatever it is there in the parenthesis, first you evaluate from the left to right. So 15 minus 3, then divided by 4 plus 2 and close the bracket, and then expression inside the parenthesis for the second one. So what happens now? 2 star 3 star, open the bracket 4 plus 15 minus 3 is 12, then division, then open the bracket 4 plus 2. So now expression inside the parenthesis. So what happens? 2 star, open the bracket 3 into star 4 plus 12, 4 plus 2 is become 6, and then close the bracket, expression inside the parenthesis. But now we need to give for, then after that off is not there, so then we have D, division. So now the division operation here. So once you take the division operation, so 2 star, open the bracket 3 star, open the bracket 4 plus 12 divided by 6 becomes 2, then expression inside the parenthesis now. So once you do that, now we have 4 plus 2 expression inside this parenthesis we need to evaluate. So then you will go to get 2 star, open the bracket 3 into, now whatever the expression you have within the parenthesis. So 4 plus 2 becomes 6. 2 stars 3 into 6. Then this bracket is removed. So once this bracket is removed, 3 into 6, and we have only one expression. Then expression inside the parenthesis, 2 star 3 into 6 becomes 18. 2 into 18, 2 into 18, which is equal to 36. So this will going to be the final answer. So the final answer obtained after the evaluation is equal to 36. So this is how, for this particular expression, whatever you have, you will going to get the final value as 36. Find the final values of the variable of the following program segment. Suppose if you have int a, b, c, float x, y, a is equal to 10, b is equal to 15, c is equal to b by a, x is equal to b by a, and y is equal to float b by a. So what we are trying to do here, this, how does that explicit conversion and that implicit conversion will going to have the effect on your result. So when you are considering the case 1, if you are considering int abc and float x, y, so we have the garbage values of abc because it's integer value, so you have 2 bytes, and float x, y, you're going to have, since it is a float, you're going to have 4 bytes here. Once you are considering a is equal to 10, then b is equal to 15. So what will going to be the values of the memory location? So a will have 10 and b is equal to 15. So once you do that, so what will going to be value of c? C will be equal to b by a. Since c is also an integer, so what happens? So 15 divided by 10, it becomes 1.5, but here it will not show 1.5, it becomes 1. So now you can see here 15 divided by 10, will give you 1. Why? Because since C is an integer, A is also an integer, B is also an integer. Integer by integer is always results in an integer value. So integer means the value without a decimal point is an integer. So even though the result is 1.5, you will not going to get 1.5. Instead, you will going to get 1. So that is what we have shown in the memory location here also. Then x is equal to b by a. So what is x? X again it is a floating value. B is an integer value. A is also an integer value. Again you are going to get 1. But here we will not going to get 1 because the x value what you have is a float. Since it is a float value, so it will going to give the value of a float function which will going to be 1.0, because once the result is x, x becomes integer by integer is an integer, but x is the one which has to be as being given as a float. Instead of giving it as 1, since it will convert that integer into a float function, because float is a higher value, higher rank, so it will going to becomes 1.0. So it is automatically converted into float here. Now, suppose if you are considering y is equal to float of b by a, what happens? We will see now. If you are considering float of b by a, float is an explicit conversion which are taking place from the integer into the float variable. So that means b will going to become 15.0. Then a, the compiler will automatically convert that integer into an higher rank because of the explicit conversion. So it will going to become 15.0 divided by 10.0. So therefore the y what you are going to get, the result will be 1.5. So here you can see here 15.0 divided by 10.0, 15.0 which explicitly we are converting because the float b. So you are converting the integer value into float, so it becomes explicit conversion which becomes 15.0, and then the compiler automatically converts that the denominator value which is 10.0 as 10 as 10.0, so it becomes an implicit conversion. So 15.0 by 10.0 will go into results is 1.5. So that value 1.5 will be the value of float in this function. So this is how you will be able to get the analysis. Then in the case 2, output of the program along with the tracing, how it will going to get. Suppose if you are considering int a comma b, float c. So this is the garbage value, whatever you get, integer of ab will going to have, each variable will going to have 2 bytes, and c is a float which is 4 bytes. Suppose if a is equal to 20 by 10 plus 6.5. So how that is going to take place? Now first we are going to apply the BODMAS rule. What is BODMAS rule? Bracket is not there, off is not there. Then comes D, so division first it will going to take. 25 divided by 10. So 25 divided by 10, first it will going to be executed. So performs the integer operation. So what is that integer operation? Integer by integer is always gives an integer. So it becomes 2 plus 6.5. Then add, because BODMAS after division you have multiplication. Since you don't have multiplication, again you have a, which is addition 2 plus 6.5. The result will be 2.0 plus 6.5, which you convert to float. So it becomes 8.5. They perform the additional operation. A will be equal to 8.5 is the result. So, but what will going to be the value? Because integer a has been declared as an integer. So since the result is 8.5, but a will not be able to get 8.5, because when in the program you are declaring a as an integer value, so it truncates the value of 0.5 and converts into 8. A is equal to 8, convert to integer since a is an integer variable. So this is how it will going to be executed. So a will going to have 8, again b and c, which is the garbage value. Still we have not found out that. Now when you are considering b is equal to 25 divided by 10 plus 6.6. So first it performs the operation of 25 by 10. So perform integer division. So it becomes 2 plus 6.6. So convert it into float. It will going to become b value, which is again it becomes 8.6. Perform additional operation. But actually b value, again it is an integer. So it converts into an integer value. So b will also becomes 8. So convert to integer since b is an integer variable. So again b will also be having 8. So when you are considering the C value, C is equal to 25 divided by 10 plus 6.6 now. So 25 divided by 10. So C, again it is an integer division because 25 by 10 both are integers. So integer division is going to get 2 plus 6.6, which will going to be converts into float 2.0 plus 6.6, which is 8.6. So since C is a floating variable, the result what you will going to get is C is 8.6. So the final value will be A is equal to 8, B is equal to 8, and C is equal to 8.6. So this is how you will be able to analyze this BODMAS rule and associativity properties. Thank you.